Thank you, God, for this brand new dawn. And thank you, Reverend Renee, for that beautiful meditation, reminding us to be grateful for this brand new dawn. I'm the leader of my mind, the master of my soul. I love that. Thank you. I also loved how she said to seek a higher consciousness. That's what we're here to do, to continually seek a higher consciousness, to see the light in every soul, and I would add in every situation, to seek the higher consciousness that allows us to see the light of God in every soul, in every situation, to see the light of God in every soul, in every situation. So here I am, it's 20 years ago this month. I'm driving back from a cross-country tour. I'm on a lonely road in Texas. Haven't seen a car in hours, just me and my dog and my guitar and my flute and my little conversion van. I'm driving down this road, and I see this big pickup truck with two big cowboys in it, guns in the gun rack behind their heads, and they fly by me and do a U-turn immediately and start to follow me at high speed. Knuckles gripping the steering wheel, starting to sweat and speed up. I'm driving, and I'm thinking back to the story that I told myself before I booked this tour. You know, Gwen's going to have to leave those last 2 weeks after 4 weeks of being with me. Those last 2 weeks, I'm going to be by myself. That means I'm going to be driving across Texas by myself. There's people in Texas, I'm sure, that don't like me. I'm sure there's people in Texas that don't approve of who I am and how I live my life and what I look like. I'm sure just there's people in Texas. I had created this whole story in my mind about people in Texas. Driving faster, starting to sweat, gripping the steering wheel, they're gaining. I'm remembering this story that I had about the people in Texas. And then I flash back once again to before this trip started, because I know that our thoughts and our feelings create our experience, that what we perseverate on and give our energy to expands in our life. What we give our attention to, we energize. And I didn't want to energize that. So immediately, let's back up now. A few weeks before the tour even started, I was catching my thoughts. I was realizing that I was making up a story that hadn't even happened, and I was having feelings about it and getting scared about it. And I decided that's not how I want to live my life. I choose to believe that life is for me. I'm safe and supported by the universe. Life is for me. I'm safe and supported by the universe became my mantra. It became my mantra as we broke down in Taos, New Mexico, and had to wait in the Walmart parking lot for somebody to come pick us up that we didn't even know and work on the van and hope they were really knowing what they were doing. And life is for me, and I'm safe and supported by the universe. When all the hotels were booked and we in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we ended up sleeping in a truck stop. My friend Gwen still loves me somehow. Life is for me, and I'm safe and supported by the universe. I kept repeating that, but now here I am. I know I'm bouncing back and forth. Are you with me? We're back on the Texas road. They're gaining on me. I'm speeding up. I'm sweating. I'm starting to freak out. And I catch myself. Now let me say, there's plenty of reasons for people in the LGBTQ community to be afraid. There's plenty of reasons. We've lost 350 transgender people have been murdered in 2020 alone. So things happen to people in the LGBTQ community just for being who they are. So there's plenty of reason to be fearful. But I realized in that moment, as they're getting closer to me and I'm freaking out, I realized, wait a second, I'm freaking out not based on an experience I've had in Texas, because I hadn't really had any at that point. We drove across the northern route on the way out, and we were running late, so we hardly had any time to stop or interact with anyone. So I didn't really have an experience of Texas except the one in my head. And I realized it. And I went from, there's people in Texas that don't like me, to life is for me. I'm safe and supported by the universe. Life is for me, and I started to slow down. I'm safe and supported by the universe. Life is for me, and I pull off the side of the road. I'm safe and supported by the universe. You see, because they were beside me at this point, pulled up in the lane beside me, pointing for me to pull over. Life is for me. I'm safe and supported by the universe. I pull over. Cowboy gets out and runs up and says, "Ma'am, you're about to lose your luggage rack. We're going to fix that for you. Just hold tight." Wow. Next thing I know, I have two cowboys on the top of my conversion van giving me their time and their resources. They gave me these big industrial-sized trucker straps that they put on the van and strapped the luggage rack that was doing this. I was about to lose all of my camping equipment, my extra clothes, my CDs. Everything was about to fly off the top of the van, and I didn't even know. But the good hearts of these good old boys in Texas saw a problem and they came to be of service. And I was able, thank God, to go inside and go, wait a second, this fear is unfounded. Stop it. Be in your center of God consciousness. But you see, it's a choice. In every moment, it's a choice. We are always at a choice point to step through that door of awakening to the truth that life is happening through you, not to you, awakening to the truth that we are co-creators with Spirit, awakening to the truth that our thoughts and our perceptions are causative, as Dr. Ernest Holmes says. So at each moment, we are at choice point to step through the next door of awakening, the next level of awakening, or choose to walk through the door or choose to hit snooze, right? Choose to stay unconscious, choose to stay fearful, choose to pretend that we are not in partnership with the divine. Stepping through the doorway of awakening is not something we do once. It's something we are at choice point to do every single day. Recognizing in every situation, life is happening through me, not to me. Recognizing this morning, because you see, it's from the little things to the big things, back to the little things. Recognizing this morning that even though I have 2 printers, nothing wanted to work. And I'm trying to print out my notes. I'm trying to print out the order of service. I'm trying to be here for you. And nothing's working. It's that easy. It's that quick to go back to a 30 years ago mindset that life is happening to me. Unless you know in each moment you are at choice point. And you say, okay, well, I guess it's time for me to bond with my neighbor. Hey, you got a printer? Can you print this for me? Good morning, by the way. Right? Life is happening through me, not to me, and the energy is going to flow wherever my attention is going to go. So I am choosing to continually step through the doorway of awakening, understanding that when we cross the threshold, we leave the old consciousness. We are being called to leave the old consciousness that got us to here back there, because what got us here won't get us to the next place. What got us here won't get us there. The consciousness that brought us here won't take us there. Because we are continually evolving beings, we have to be willing to step through the threshold and leave the past behind and continually evolve, continue to set new goals with purpose and meaning and fuel them with our attention so that they are energized from the universe. More on that tomorrow night. You still have time to join class. Little class plug. Because you see, the more we realize that we can do that with our individual lives, the more we do that with our collective consciousness, and we create a greater good on this planet. That's what we're being called to do. We have to stop hitting snooze and we'll step through the doorway of awakening each and every moment with each and every choice point. It's important to realize how this works. Eric Butterworth was a wonderful teacher in New Thought, very, very much respected in Unity and Science of Mind. He said this, that thought of itself doesn't create anything. Thought doesn't create anything, but it either places you consciously in the universal flow or it frustrates the flow. So although we are co-creative beings, that our perception is causative, as Ernest Holmes would say, we're not creating. Everything is already created in the infinite mind, right? It's just a matter of stepping into, that's what we mean by stepping into that flow, because everything we think and feel and perseverate on, we're engaging in reality. So we are either placing ourselves consciously in the universal flow or we're frustrating that flow. Dr. Ernest Holmes said it this way: you're not your thoughts, so separate the thought from the thinker, the belief from the believer. And see that, okay, I was thinking this. We live in a reflective universe, so it's going to give me that. So I am switching this around because I can make that choice. Ernest Holmes also said, we are not the power, but yet we are the avenue through which this universal power flows. So we get to frustrate that flow or consciously step into that flow. Consciously step into the universal flow. And we do this by recognizing our connection with our source, but not just our connection with our source, everyone's connection to source. Going back to Reverend Renee's comment, seek a higher consciousness that sees the light of God in every soul and every situation. That puts us consciously in universal flow. Anything less than that frustrates the flow because we're cutting off pieces of the divine when we say, this is good, this is the divine, that's not. That's not to say there aren't misuses of the law of good, because there are. That's what we call evil or error thinking, people that choose to use this power of co-creative nature that we have to do things that aren't in love and support of one another. But back of that is a power for good that moves through everything. And if we lose sight of that, then we lose sight of that ability to reach in past any diagnosis and say, inside, every cell knows exactly how to be a healthy cell. Inside every cell knows exactly how to be a healthy cell. It's that perception of wholeness that is the healing itself, Dr. Holmes said. It's the perception of wholeness. So we have to be able to see past the illusions of dis-ease, the illusions of discord, the illusion of chaos, the illusion of argumentative states of being around us. Look past that and trust in that universal flow of good. It's a tall order sometimes. I get that. But man, that's what we're being called to do right now more than ever. Are my thoughts placing me in the flow is the question to ask, or are they frustrating that flow? Some things that we can do to be in that universal flow. We were gifted with 3 people sharing this morning. Mary, thank you, Janice, and Reverend Renee. And so Mary, right, she said, be of service. She found that she was craving being of service. These are things that keep us in that universal flow and keep us from frustrating the flow. And that is finding ways to be of service. We need each other. We need each other. And it was Mother Teresa that said, if we know no peace, it's because we've forgotten that we belong to one another. So reach out when you're struggling. Don't be afraid that you're the only one that's depressed or sad or worried or scared or frustrated. You're not. Reach out. And be willing to reach out. Be willing to be one of those people that says, hey, you know what? I haven't seen so-and-so on the comments lately. I wonder if she's okay. I think I'll send her a little note on Facebook or an email and say, hey, I missed you. You see, we're in a different time. We may not be sitting next to each other and notice that someone's chair is empty, but if you pay attention, you'll start noticing that someone that was commenting isn't there this week and wasn't there last week. And hey, this may be a different sort of community now with COVID going on, but we're still in community. Be of service. And that rolls right into Janice's sharing about being connected, staying connected, find ways to stay connected and be there for each other. And then, last but not least, from our sharing this morning, Reverend Renee reminding us to seek the freedom from our thoughts and our perspectives and our choices so that we can be free in our mind instead of a prisoner of our mind. Yes? Being free in our mind instead of a prisoner of it. Spiritual awakening, going through this door to spiritual awakening, it's not about just getting things. Please hear me on that. This prosperity class that we're teaching is not about getting stuff. Getting stuff happens when you start living life in alignment with the divine flow. The quality of your life improves, and that sometimes looks like a new house or a new car or a new relationship. But it is a byproduct, like I talked about last week. The awakening is really about merging with the flow of life, feeling that connection to our source and seeing that light of God in every soul and every situation. In our Science of Mind magazine reading for today, the quote at the top says, I act and react to the world on the basis of what I know, whether what I know is real or not. Me, driving through Texas, realizing I'm reacting to my world based on what I know, which is really only a story I've been telling myself. Quick, change the channel. We can change the channel in our heads and on the TV. We can change the channel. Every moment is a doorway into the next new level of awakening. When I was picking a picture for the Facebook event for today's talk, I picked a door, pretty door. I almost picked a different door, and I kind of wish I had. As I was thinking about the talk this morning, I found this door, a picture of a door that was like a door inside of a door, inside of a door, inside of a door, inside of a door. Like, as far as you could see, there were just more doors opening. And that's really what the doorway to awakening is. It's not one doorway. It's continually realizing we're at choice point and choosing to seek the higher consciousness that sees the light of God in every soul and every situation. Chooses to say life is for me and I am safe and supported by the universe. Every moment is this choice point. Every moment is this new level of awakening and realizing that we're crossing a new threshold. I'm tongue-tied this morning. That we are crossing a new threshold each and every time, and that what got us here won't get us there. So continuously seeking, really what we're doing is continuously seeking balance between becoming and being. Becoming and being. The next level awakening, being with that. And yet receptive and open to moving to the next level of being and being with that, right? This expansion and flow, allowing it to continue and not hit the snooze button on what we're choosing. We have a tendency, though, to be destination focused, don't we? We have such a tendency to be destination focused that when I get the new job or the new relationship, or then it was, well, when COVID's over, and then it was, when this spike in COVID cases is over, then I can do da-da-da-da-da. And when this spike of COVID cases is over, I can do da-da-da. When the election is over, I will feel better. When the inauguration is over, I will feel better. Destination focused. Take a moment right there, because I can feel you through the internet holding your breath. Take a breath. This is the only destination that matters. Right now. Right here. Right now. This is the only destination that matters. So check in. As you think, so your life becomes. So check in. What are you projecting onto your tomorrow? What are you projecting into the world from your level of awakening, your level of consciousness right now? Are you living from spiritual truth, or are you living from fear? Are you living from separation? Are you living from a compartmentalized idea of the divine? There's God here, but not over there. Omnipresent presence. We can't compartmentalize it. We have to seek that light of God, that light of love, that light of truth in every soul, in every situation. Are you being the leader of your mind, the master of your soul, as Reverend Renee said? Are you seeking that higher consciousness? The affirmation in today's Science of Mind magazine says, the power of the infinite flows through me this day. Say that with me. The power of the infinite flows through me this day. The second part says, I am grounded in peace, compassion, and strength. I am grounded in peace, compassion, and strength. I promise you, when you start staying focused and grounded in spiritual truth, instead of the fears of the personalities of the world, you continually walk through the next door of awakening. The power of the infinite flows through you, and you are in the universal flow, not frustrating that flow. The doorway of awakening is every moment. I am the leader of my mind. Say that with me. I am the leader of my mind. I am the master of my soul. I continually seek a higher consciousness and see the light of God in every soul and every situation. Keep walking through those doorways. We have to continue. The world is waiting. We are the ones we've been waiting for. I love that saying that we talked about last week in the song that Faith Rivera shared, and Faith Rivera and Harold Payne. We're the ones. Karen Drucker has a beautiful song about that too. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We have to continue, though. I know we get tired. It's been a big year. It's been a lot. Take a breath. Have self-care. Continuing doesn't mean that you are just running around doing to be doing. Continually taking up the choice point and crossing the next threshold, the next doorway into the next level of awakening doesn't mean running around and doing busy work. It means staying focused and conscious of our connection to our source, and that it is flowing in as and through all of life. in, as, and through every soul and situation. And so we just breathe into this moment, knowing life is for me. I am safe and supported by the universe. And you know what? Texas is a fun place after all. Namaste.